Mama may have, Papa may have, but God bless the child that's got her own, that's got her own. The reason you can't get pregnant is because God is punishing you. Those words cut through me like a hot knife on butter. And they hurt even more because they came from someone who said that they loved me very, very much. But I wasn't surprised because the commodities on offer growing up were self-doubt, self-loathing, and worst of all, crippling and repetitive self-criticism. My self-worth at the time was at an all-time low, and all I wanted was some comfort and support. But you can't get cherries from an apple tree. My shame was so deep because after 8 years of trying, I still couldn't get pregnant. I hid from my friends who were having babies all over and around me. And my shame was even deeper because here I was, this holistic expert in visualization and manifestation, and I couldn't manifest something that millions of women had manifested for millions of years. Get pregnant. I desperately wanted to have my own child. I just wanted to belong to the healthy and happy parent club. So I took in the hospital room, or the hospital waiting room. And I was waiting to have what was to be my 9th medical procedure. I was 40 years old and being told that my chances for success were slim. But I wasn't giving up. I was a leave no stone unturned kind of woman. So I took in the women next to me that were sitting next to me in the waiting room, and I noticed they were kind of youngish looking. I said, oh, this is strange. I thought everyone was in there for the same reason. So I turned to the woman next to me and I said, what are you getting done? And she said, abortion. I realized that all the women sitting next to me were at that moment waiting to have an abortion. I mean, that hit me like a gut punch. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm pro-choice and I have nothing but respect for people doing what they got to do for themselves. But at that moment, I felt like I was being brought to my knees. And at that very moment, I also had a thought, a flash, a memory of the time I was 16 years old when things were particularly difficult at home. And I remember declaring to myself, the buck stops with me. The cycle of dysfunction stops with me. And I wondered, had I maybe manifested this inability to get pregnant with that declaration? As a holistic person, I not only engaged in a lot of medical procedures, but I sought out every holistic practitioner that I had heard could help someone get pregnant. So I took a trip down to Topanga Canyon, California, and I met up with a troupe of Maori Indian healers who specialize in infertility. And I met this large healer named Papa John with big, big hands. And as he dug his hands into my abdomen to free up my reproductive organs from any blockages or traumas, that pain just seared right through me and I screamed at the top of my lungs. And at that very moment, I locked eyes with a guy who was also receiving a treatment from his healer and was wincing in massive pain. And we kind of gave each other a knowing smile, a supportive smile. And you know who that guy was? That was the one-armed drummer from a famous 80s rock band. And all I wanted him to do was to pour some sugar on me. When the treatment was done, Papa John said, Victoria, you need to forgive yourself. You need to love yourself. Stop being so hard on yourself. I also went to see a hypnotherapist who specialized in past life regression, and she took me on a journey down to 15th century Venice, where I saw myself as a prostitute with a very bad problem with alcohol and gambling and drugs. And I also saw myself in that lifetime mistreating my children. And I wondered, was that why I couldn't get pregnant? But the hypnotherapist told me, Victoria, you're here in this lifetime, I think, to forgive yourself, to learn that, really, to not be so hard on yourself, to love yourself, to treat yourself with more kindness. Every practitioner I saw told me the same messaging. Be kind to yourself. Love yourself. Stop being so hard on yourself. Be gentler with yourself. My desperate desire to get pregnant kept me motivated to stay on the journey year after year after year. And even though I never did get pregnant, what the journey taught me was that I needed to give birth to a healthier version of me. I needed to be the parent to the inner child. I needed to have new commodities on offer. Self-love, self-kindness, self-acceptance, self-compassion. And the buck did stop with me, and the cycle of dysfunction has stopped with me. God bless the child that's got her own. Thank you very much.